I welcome you back on behalf of WIRC. I thank you all for coming back to this session on the second day of National Conference on GST. With this, I also welcome our Honorable WIRC Secretary C.S. Saurabh Ajmera and our very much eminent faculty for the today's session, who never needs any introduction for any session or any subject. So I also welcome Sir C.A. S.S. Gupta. I request our secretary to escort him to the stage. I would invite C.S. Saurabh Ajmera to kindly give a brief introduction to of Sir.
Good morning, one and all. So we are in the second day of this GST National Conference. Probably I am expecting big shout from all of you. Good morning, one and all. Speaker of the session, S.S. Gupta ji, very learned speaker, I can say, to whom we learned GST from since beginning. Before that, VET also we have learned. Always supportive to WIRC. Whenever we are calling him, he is always available. So thank you very much, sir, for your gracious presence over here. Coordinator Bhavna Ben, all the attendees. Friends, before going to introduction part, I like to highlight some of the initiatives which we have done in this year at WIRC. From 25th February, we have taken charge. Until now, I think more than 10.5 months is already completed. And we have come out with various initiatives. If in this program, if you all are seeing the new coordinators, this is also the part of one of the program at WIRC. We have launched that My Role at WIRC on our website. So any person who want to be coordinator, who want to be a speaker, who want to be a part of any kind of activity for the program is always welcome to WIRC. So in this program, we are giving equal opportunity to all our members and we are welcoming the new leadership at WIRC. Similarly, we have come out very interesting program, that is Networking Zone. Friends, from last 10-12 years, I am hearing that we have to do networking, but nowhere it is known that how to do networking. And that is why we have come out with a practical solution. On our website, there is a separate column for the networking where each CA and all our members can mention whatever is the need. Suppose anyone need a chartered accountant, fresher chartered accountant, anyone need for bank audit chartered accountant. So that way they can advertise themselves. We are just showing the numbers and one-liner advertisement in our networking zone. And believe me, today I can say more than 200 chartered accountant from the Mopasil area or interior area of Maharashtra is coming to Mumbai and they are doing work on an assignment basis. So that way, in real sense, we are giving the networking opportunity. This is also available on our website in WIRC newsletter. Friends, this year is highly focused for the technology and networking because we know that we are in the era of technology, so we can't avoid it. We have to inculcate technology in our day-to-day working. And that is why in the same year we have come out with our new website and very importantly one chatbot also, that is WIRC Setu. We always hear about Ram Setu, so we have come out with the WIRC Setu to connect our member in an effective way. In this, today I can say if you need any help in a second of time with answering 2-3 or simple questions, you can get your reply. Today if you need appointment with Kokila Ben where we have our tie-up, you can get in 7 seconds with the answering of 3 questions, a signed letter of chairman of WIRC in your mobile directly from our chatbot. And we are providing all the details related to WIRC in the WIRC chatbot. That is the name of WIRC Setu, that is also available in a form of WhatsApp icon at our website. And we are the first regional council in ICI who have come out such a practical solution. So my request to all the members, do follow such kind of technology initiative at WRC so we can motivate and we can come out with more and more initiative. And the third one is WRC Connect. When we were hosting our national conference on 15 and 16 December at NESCO, more than 2,500 members were there, more than 3,000 students were there. And in the presence of all the members, we have come out with the WRC Connect. That is the app of WRC. And today, we are trying our best to incumbent all the things in WRC Connect app so our members can have very intuitive experience in terms of technology. So that way WRC is fully focused to connect with the members, but I feel there is a lack of awareness. So my request to all the members, please do follow WRC on a regular basis on the all platform which we are providing to empower all our members. With these, now I'm moving to the introduction part of SS Gupta sir. I think we all know him very well. The firm employed 30 chartered accountant, many article plus other qualified supporting staff to cater to more than 800 clients. The firm has also associated with Sri C.A. Vinod Avtani, Advocate Sri Jagdish Suri at Vapi, and sir is having experience more than 4 decades in this profession. With this, I request to have a big round of applause for SS Gupta ji. Sir is always available to help us in GST matters. Thank you very much, sir. Over to you, sir.
Shri Saurabh Ajmera, Secretary of WRC, Bhavna Maheshwari, upcoming leader, right? वो रिजर्वेशन होने वाला है 33%. Not in WRC, I am talking of the parliament on this. And my fellow chartered accountants. You must have all read the paper news that they issued number of show cause notices around amounting to 1.45 lakhs crore. And this will continue. Therefore, first and foremost, I came a little early here and I had a cup of tea here. 2 points were pointed out by the persons who were discussing. And I must tell you one thing, all of us sitting here must try to defend and contest the unnecessary demands being made by the department. It is our experience that moment you start contesting, and ultimately it takes time. I am not saying judicial process is very lengthy. It's a lengthy process. It takes decade actually, decade or more than decade. But at the top level, at tribunal level, and maybe at high court level, in tribunal level you get 90% of the things in your favor, provided you have made out a case properly. Therefore, I am suggesting to, of course we have been suggesting to WRC, and how to handle litigation is the one area which we are all lacking. This is, we think this is a lawyer's job actually, but it is not so. We as a chartered accountant can defend more properly, knowing some principles of law. It is very easy. And then the demand succumbing to the demand of the officers also reduces. Otherwise today, the kind of demand being made is you can't even hear that also more. The 2 points which now everybody is facing, GSTR 3B versus 2A. It is not in the slide because my topic is amendment in 2023. It is not in 23, but before I go on to my topic, I must dwell upon these things. What best you can do when supplier supplies you material, he gives you invoice. The best you can do is to give him a value of services, value of goods, plus the GST amount. is it practically possible for you to run after him and say, sir, please pay this GST amount to the government? You see, when you go to a doctor, he examines you, and after examination he prescribes the medicine, or he may give the medicine from his stock, whatever is available. He collects fees thereafter. Now, can he run after you and say, sir, have you consumed the medicine or not? Is it practically possible for you to do that? And I don't know any, we all have experience, we must have gone to doctor one time or the other. Has any doctor called you up and said, sir, आपने दवा खाया कि नहीं खाया? Because आपने फीस तो हमको दे दिया, उसका फायदा मिला कि नहीं मिला? These are provisions made, of course, to protect the revenue, no doubt on that. But it comes to legal interpretation of that. Very often, I mean, in the past, the VAT also had the same thing. The Delhi VAT, Bombay VAT also had. In Bombay, that Mahalakshmi Cotton, if you read the judgment fully, he said, the ASG argued, we have made our attempt to recover the amount from the supplier. And thereafter, we are asking the person to refund the VAT credit. Without asking the person, Section 73, 74 permits them to recover the differential tax from the supplier. It doesn't permit the recipient to recover the tax. It provides the proper officer to serve a show cause notice for recovery of the tax. Now, when you are giving him the registration number, address and all that of the person, then show what is recovery made. You have Section 179 from the Income Tax Act, which also says you can recover from director the income tax. But only after you have exhausted all the remedies for recovery from the company. You can't run after the easy method and catch hold of a person. Oh, पुराने ज़माने में, there's no time left. Oh, you must have heard the story. अंधेर नगरी चौपट राजा. सुना है आपने? टके सेर भाजी, टके सेर खाजा. ऐसा नहीं है कि गले का फंदा जिसमें फिट होता है उसी को फांसी लगा देने का. This is exactly when we argued. This chartered accountant, you know, the service tax came in 1998. And that time, if those who are practicing, the tax was payable if on raising of invoice and you have not received the amount within 45 days. So I had gone to the chief commissioner and said, sir, 45 days नहीं, आप 450 दिन में भी हमको पैसा दिला देंगे तो हम खुश हो जाएंगे. And then if you ask me to pay service tax on 45th day, तो मैं service tax ही भरते रहूँगा. Therefore, they thereafter made it on receipt basis. Then up to 12 it continued, and after 12 it became again on the accrual, 11 after accrual. So point which I am making is that the department cannot take a easier view, and because you are available and therefore आपका credit disallow करके get rid of it. Therefore, I'm not talking a small amount, वो लाख 2 लाख रुपया होगा तो ठीक है, because legal process itself is very lengthy, but if you have a large amount, I must say you must contest. The second and the other issue which was raised is e-way bill. Now, e-way bill, I'm aware that when the goods move from, say, Gujarat to Jammu Kashmir, and it is caught in Haryana, you have no location, no locus standi, no person is available in Haryana. Therefore, you pay the amount because you want the truck to be released initially. A truck cannot be detained for a long time. Material required by the recipient, truck detention charges are there. These are practical problems. But please contest that demand. We have done that. We have got the refund of that amount. And we have collected number of orders where we got the refund. See, all this has a cost and tediousness. I am not saying it is easy. It has its own cost. It is tedious, time consuming. But when the department realizes that it is not that easy to recover, then they become little soft. Sometimes we get the demand in audit. He comes and says, sir, वो 400 करोड़ भरना है, 800 करोड़ भरना है, नहीं तो हमको ये कर दो, वो कर दो, they all type of this thing. But when you tell the client nothing is payable and client communicates to him, nothing happens. Don't succumb. This is what I am trying to encourage, that don't succumb to these demands. Otherwise, then we as a profession, having knowledge, if we don't defend, I don't know who in the industry will, who in the society will defend these things. Anyway, I can go on that topic for a long time because litigation, I have been telling Arpit also, I have been telling all chairmen that we must develop our chartered accountants so they can stand up and argue in tribunal, because that's a place where you get most of the time justice properly. In departmental proceeding, yes, you get sometimes, but not always in this thing. Anyway, with this now I'll come to my topic of amendment, friends. As we all know, there is a GST Act, which is by Central CGST Act, IGST Act, and Compensation Act. And each state has the SGST Act, and then the Union Territory Act is there. Then there are rules, GST rules by each of the states. So you have Act, you have rules, and you have notifications. The notification giving you exemption, laying down the rate of taxes, 1/17, 11/17. Then notification also grant you exemptions from payment of taxes subject to conditions, and specifying reverse charge and all that notification is there. So you have three provisions. Provisions are contained in three places: Act, rules and notification. The Act can be amended only by the Parliament. Central Act can be amended only by Parliament, and State Act by the legislature of the state. The notification and rules can be amended by GST Council. After GST Council meeting, you will find that notifications are being issued for the amendment in the rules. And then there are circulars being issued for clarifying the various issues which are being represented to them. So you find that amendment which comes in the Act is generally once in a year. But amendment which comes in the notification and rules are multiple times in a year. Every time GST Council sits and they go on amending the rate of taxes, they go on amending the rules. It has created tremendous problem. Therefore, somebody was suggesting in the room, are we going to rewrite GST law? That is not there in this, no contemplation. But this is a manner which goes on. In fact, now when the officers are also adjudicating 17, 18, 18, 19, they are also finding it tough to get the law which was prevailing on that particular day. Because you have to apply the law which is prevailing on that particular day. And they are also, from their records and all, try to find out. Let us see, we just saw the, all of you must have seen the slide from Gujarat High Court, how they have started firing the commissioner and all that. But that day will come. High Court is also very tired of all writ petitions being coming to them in absence of tribunal being set up. So you have amendments in the Act, you have amendment in the rules. Now we'll deal with them. one by one, which has taken place in 23. You all are aware that Schedule 3 has the entries or transactions which are not considered supply of service or supply of goods. Now, when initially in 17, the high sea sales were made, when the goods arrive at the imported, they are either can be cleared for home consumption or can be kept in the bonded storeroom. And once they are kept in a bonded storeroom, no custom duty, no IGST, nothing is paid. As per the custom procedure, while the goods are in bonded storeroom, you can sell the goods to somebody else. That procedure is permitted. It is not necessary that you must remove the goods in one lot. And that happens in a large consignment. Somebody imports furnace oil 5,000 tons, sulfur 3,000 tons, like this, the large bulk consignments are made. And then you can go on apportioning the 100 tons to this person, 100 tons to that person, and it goes on in that way. So, transfer of title on the goods is permissible while the goods are in bond. While it was in 17, many people felt this is a supply being made, and therefore GST is payable. There is a circular also came, it got amended and all that, let us forget that position. The import is completed, just to explain to you, only when the goods are removed for home consumption. As long as the goods remains in the custody of the custom department, it is not removed for home consumption, the import itself is not completed. And therefore there can be no supply of a goods which is taxable in India. Hence, this was represented and finally on 1st February 2019, they included these entries in they included these entries 7 and 8 in the Schedule 3, clarifying that this sale in high sea sale in bonded storeroom, sale by document of title while the goods are in bonded storeroom, does not amount to supply of goods or services. So I explained to you that many person during because this came in 19, now your transaction goes on in 17, 18. So what do? Many have paid the tax, many have, and then the recipient has taken the credit. If you have paid the tax and recipient has taken credit, there is no loss to you. Many have declared this as an exempt supply. And in the GSTR 3B, exempt supply, it has been declared as an exempt supply because no tax has been paid. The item which are specified as no supply is not an exempt supply. Therefore, many have reversed the credit on the pretext of it's an exempt supply. This amendment in Finance Act 23 was given a retrospective effect from 1st July 2017. Now, after declaration, after many companies have, after reversing the credit in Rule 42, considering this an exempt supply, somebody advised them that, look, it is not an exempt supply, it is not a supply at all. Many after 1st February 2019, many have applied for refund of the reversal of credit which they have made, considering this supply as an exempt supply. These refunds, I don't know wherever they are lying, may be rejected and lying at the appeal level. Now, with these amendment being made in 2017, effective from 2017, so if any of your client has made the refund application, then you stand a very better chance to get the refund. Because moment any supply is not moment any transaction doesn't amount to supply as per Schedule 3, then your whole act, the GST Act and all that doesn't apply at all. And therefore question of reversal of credit does not arise in this. And hence, those who have made an application, this can be done. The second, and this is very interesting, the definition of court was, this will come in the reverse charge also, but let me cover. Schedule 3 covers, one of the entry is services rendered by court or tribunal. And the explanation says, court includes district court, high court and Supreme Court. Now when you are framing the law, you always feel that court or tribunal gives you a judicial services, in as much that they render the judiciousness. Whenever you have dispute, you go to court and say. But the court or this tribunal also receives money for allotting chambers to the lawyers. If you ever visit High Court or Supreme Court, you will find that there are chambers allotted to various senior lawyers and the rent is recovered. Or the building of the court or tribunal is permitted, where towers are, telecom towers are installed. I hope you must have seen in Bombay, it is there behind police commissioner's office. Of course, you should not visit there, I am not saying. But if you see, the department realized this, because all those who have given these rent for towers and the chamber rent amount, they argued this is a service rendered by the court or tribunal, and therefore it is not liable for GST. And this amendment was made, and saying that now these kind of services being rendered by the court or tribunal, only judicial services will be exempt, rest all services, the reverse charge will be liable. The department has that. Whenever the government department is asked to pay the tax, they say we can't ask the government department to pay the tax, let us put it on reverse charge. You will find, we had the show cause notice, police department gives a security. Police you see on the road also, and it provides a personal security. Sometimes it provides on paid basis. Of course, there is a procedure. Also, some of these leaders and other individuals, sometimes in the industrial, if there is some dispute, you can call police and they will give you security on payment basis. IPL matches, big matches and all, big events, all these securities are paid basis. The department wanted to serve a show cause notice for recovering service tax on the amount recovered for security given to such individuals under the category of security services. And show cause was given, 17 crore rupees and all. So I had gone to Joint Commissioner. First thing he said, sir, wo fees to hum dete nahi hai. And the second sentence he said, ते आमच्याकडनं पैसे मागताय. And ultimately you find that this was put on a reverse charge basis. All security services, you must have seen those who follow the service tax properly, the security agency services were put in the reverse charge basis. So all government functioning is like that only. That's the first amendment which has been made. This is one thing. Anything and everything, the government has that feeling that anything and everything we receive the amount is for a supply of services. I was once telling Commissioner, sir, you always try to link that amount with some supply. Otherwise, you are just trying to levy tax on each and every item which is being taxed, which is amount is recovered. As an example, I said, suppose you are driving a car and your car is hit by another car. Now you have an option to take him to police and file a suit, file a case against him. The other option is both of you come together, sir, ये damage हो गया है, ये it will cost 500 rupees, 1000 rupees and all this thing. And he says, yes, it's my mistake, you take 1000 rupees and let us finish off, let us not go to police. Now this 1000 rupees which is paid to you is for repair of the damages which has been caused by that person, negligence of that person. It is not for any supply made by you. The supply is a consent term, is given by way of consent. I mean, both of you agree that I will do this activity for you, and in return you will pay me something. Wherever you are not consented, that activity cannot be considered a supply. Otherwise, department can argue that you have permitted him to thoko your car. That is possible, department can say, and therefore what 1000 rupees you receive is for a supply of goods. Then I told the commissioner also, sir, वो घर में चोरी हो जाता है, and tomorrow I am able to recover some amount. Then you will say you permit him to thief. आपने उसको permission दे दिया कि जाके चोरी कर लो. The Bombay High Court has said by the consent is essential, and therefore whenever damages are paid for the activity which is not consented upon, that cannot be considered as supply. You may receive a lot of damages. In contractual terms, because sometime time frame is the main clause which is provided. The contract says you will supply the goods at this particular date, and you fail to supply on that day. Then these activities are linked together, like we do an interior in the house. Activities are linked. Some plumbing will come, before that plastering should be done, or plumbing should be done, after that plastering will be done. All these activities are linked together. In setup of the plant, in manufacturing operations, if the critical raw material is delayed, then the plant may have to be kept closed. For that reason, the clauses provide for damages. The contract provides that if you delay in supplying the material, then you will have to pay so much amount to us. That is to recover the loss which is incurred by the recipient due to your delay in making a supply. The loss need not be estimated with naya paisa. Both parties can estimate at the time of entering into a contract that, look, if you delay, then this much is the amount payable. Now that man is not consenting that you delay, therefore you will pay me damages. As per the contract, you are required to supply on a particular date. He is interested in receiving that supply. He is only providing that in case you delay this thing, then I am going to incur a loss, and therefore if I incur a loss, please compensate me with that. The department says, no, you have consented, you have agreed to tolerate this act of delay. That is not the intention of this. Something you try to penalize is not that intention that you should delay. The intention is the contract should be executed as per the terms agreed upon, and in case you do not execute the contract properly, then you are required to pay this compensation. These are nature of penalties. But department has been left, right and center, damages means every contract you will find. In our society also, you see, when a redevelopment of society takes place, you always find the builder always delays. He says 2 years is the time of getting a contract, then he goes on delaying and all that thing. And then sometimes the contract DA provides that you will pay so much compensation, so much more this thing, all that goes on. Such compensation, such damages is not for making any supply. I am repeating again that supply is an item where transaction whereby both have consented to do an activity, do a transaction. And unless that consent is there, it can't be a supply to you. So therefore, now after so many of this thing, they have issued a circular. These are various judgments. One can go through these judgments, laying down the same thing, and this circular clarifies check, dishonor, fine and penalty. Penalty imposed on violation of law. You break a signal and you pay. Nowadays that photo itself comes. The Havaldar wala cheez chala gaya hai. Late payment, surcharge fees, fixed capacity charges, all these are there, which is in a nature of compensation. In business it is very regular. Those who deal with the business transactions, these are very regular transactions. Suppose as a chartered accountant, some company approaches you and says that I am going to outsource this particular activity, you employ 10 people. And you agree that I will employ 10 people, this is my cost of employment, and you will minimum give me this much business. And tomorrow he does not give you that business. You are going to incur a loss because you have to pay salary to that person. It's your employment. And in such contract you will find that these compensations are provided. That if you do not give me this business, then you will pay me so much as the damages. In manufacturing facility, you set up a plant and he says, I am going to buy you X quantity. And suddenly he does not buy X quantity, he minus X minus 25%. That plant remained idle. Now who will pay for the idle capacity? So such contract department has been considering and issuing show cause notices. That's why I come back to the first one, that you must learn to contest these type of show cause notices which are being issued day in and day out for this, and you must have read in the paper also. So this is the second amendment which has come, which is a welcome, but even after this, the department still continues with the show cause notices. Reverse charge mechanism, this I already dealt with you on the आपको
So there is this client who is exclusively into high C sales, and he has a marketing team here in India for which he has an input ITC. So can he claim that ITC or it's not available to him?
See, if he has what ultimately he does, then where is will use the credit? If you are only doing high C sale, then there is no supply which you are making under the
So
law.
it's basically a 90-10 proportion. Say they have 10% business happening in domestic market also.
Common?
Yes, it's common.
No, now I'll explain to you this thing.
Yeah,
In high C sale, you may have a CHA services,
correct, sir. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That is not common. That can be linked to one to high C sale.
Correct.
That you will not get. But suppose you have a marketing team who does the IC sale marketing, who also does the sale which is taxable. Then it is possible. Common service like rental services, security service in your office, which is doing for both the activities. You must have some good amount of sale which is taxable. Then it is possible to claim the credit.
So, but reversal provision nowhere speaks about Schedule 3. So, why is it
Huh?
the reversal schedule?
17.3 is there, no?
Yeah, but then Schedule 3 is
17.3
not.
is there, then 17.3 may where it is included that. Wherever they wanted to reverse, they would have included that.
Yeah, so it
provision.
is not covered. So, he is eligible to claim the general
That's what I'm
ITC.
saying.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Then the other amendment is the residential dwelling, which is exempt from payment of tax. But once it is given to a registered person, then he is liable to pay the GST on a reverse charge basis. So you need to see whether the person is registered or not at the time when it is there. It is luckily the department has realized over a period of time, you see. That's what I started with the first thing, that something which is not possible for a supplier to recognize, you can't thrust upon him to comply with that. Now suppose it's not a reverse charge, it would have been a forward charge. How can the supplier find out whether the person is registered or not registered? It is not possible for him. He can't go on making inquiry कि सर आप बताइए registered है कि नहीं है. Like some client came to me and said, sir, you will not advise any of my competitors. There are conditions in many contracts. I started laughing at him. He says, आप हंस रहे हैं? मैं बोला, yes. अभी क्या हर आदमी को आने वाले मैं पूछूं कि आप उसका कॉम्पिटिटर है कि नहीं है? You list out the person whom I will not advise. Then I can follow. But any new person comes, अरे आप उसको competitor है क्या? Then I cannot advise you. Now these are impossible things to comply. Same way here, if suppose, as against the reverse charge, and said exemption is not available to a person for residential units, if given to a registered person. Now registered होगा, तमिलनाडु में है, यहाँ आपने क्या मालूम पड़ेगा? This is point which I am making is 16.2c, which is we are every time saying not possible. It is very difficult to comply. We will have to contest that issue. Therefore now, of course, let us go on to this. A registered person hai, you should, in the contract agreement, we should very clearly say he is registered or not registered, and then do this. He should pay on the reverse charge. If he has not disclosed it and he ultimately proved out to be so and so, the liability is on him. The liability doesn't come on you. That's a good part of the legislator. Setting up of tribunal. ये तो भगवान जानता है कब होगा. After 6.5 years also, friends, we have tribunals not set up, and that is why you find lot of litigations which is being going on, because the law is still not settled on various issues which is there. And even today, you had the reason for delay is, of course, as per the Constitution, as per interpretation by the Supreme Court, the tribunal must be consisting of a persons who are judicial and technical. The judicial member should be equal to technical or more than the technical. In ITIT tribunal, you find one judicial member, one technical member. So they are equal numbers are equal. But when the GST tribunal was set up initially, it consists of 3 persons, one judicial, one state member, one central member. The writ petition was filed in Delhi High Court, Chennai High Court, saying that this is against the Constitution, the judicial member is less than the technical member. And therefore this tribunal cannot be constituted, which was upheld by Chennai High Court, saying that this tribunal, they have unconstitutional provision. After a lot of deliberation, what is agreed between state and center is a tribunal consists of 4 members. No tribunal in our country is consisting of 4 members. You have uniqueness. 2 judicial, 1 technical from state and 1 technical from center. Abhi to 4 members to, I mean, you look at the various tribunals, आप जाएंगे ना, those who practice as I said litigation में, ट्राइब्यूनल सेटअप में मेंबर ही नहीं मिलते. बेनामी ट्रांजैक्शन ट्राइब्यूनल गॉट सेटअप अभी 9 महीने के बाद में उसको कोई मेंबर मिला है. 4 मेंबर आना और 4 मेंबर को एड्रेस करना एंड 4 मेंबर ने साथ में ऑर्डर पास करना, you know, it is like very difficult task. Anyway, as of now, therefore the another issue was whether a lawyer can become a member or not, practicing lawyer, which initially the government did not permit. The writ petition was filed in Supreme Court. Immediately government amended the law and said yes, lawyers can become a tribunal member. And now they of course, now it will be set up. They have notified that the principal bench will be set up in Delhi. State benches will, of course, wherever High Court is there, the state benches will be set up and will be done. Initially, let me put it very clearly, it's going to be very tough for every member to explain this, any person who is arguing there, to explain the law to the members, particularly judicial member. The reason is, many of these judicial member comes from the magistrate rank. And once you are a magistrate, you know, you have been seeing the family fighting dispute, divorce wala and this chori wala, and then suddenly you find tax evasion of 100 crore. तो उसको लगता है कि ये तो कोई चोर उचक्का आ गया इधर मेरे सामने. These are problems which you have faced whenever the members have come from the magistrate. Some of them are very good, they pick up. But initial stages, these amounts look gigantic to them because they have all along been fighting on these. BMC wala to penalty of 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, and यहाँ वो penalty देखता है सीधा 25 करोड़. तो उसको लगता है ये क्या कोई किधर आके बैठ गया ये आदमी मालूम नहीं है. You know, this kind of thing is there. But anyway, we have to face whatever it is there. We will see this. So tribunal will be, this is a major problem in dispute. And let me tell you, after setting up a tribunal also, you will find at least for 5-6 years, these problems of settling the law will be there. Of course, government has been amending the law as and when the new kind of business is a dynamic status, and the dynamism in business continues. Nowadays, most of the sale, youngsters, they use e-commerce platform for the purpose of purchasing. Hardly there anybody goes to the shop and does that. And therefore, you must have read the ITC report also, that now they are setting up a cloud kitchen, not the restaurant. वो restaurant भी नहीं चाहिए बैठने को, cloud kitchen से Zomato and Swiggy will come and deliver in your house. वो जो ठंडा है गरम है जो भी है उधर वो खाना. This is how the things, though they have realized this. Composition scheme में this, if you are 1.5 crore, like your kirana shop or your any shop is there, your turnover is 1.5 crore and less than 1.5 crore, then you can opt for composition scheme. But there was a prohibition. You can't sell this through e-commerce. That means you can't sell through Zomato, Swiggy, and the order cannot be placed in their platform. Now you find many samosa, kachori and farsan wala is also selling through e-commerce. They were unable to claim the benefit of composition scheme because of the fact that you are selling through this. And now they have amended the law and they said even if you sell the goods through e-commerce, we will give you the benefit of composition scheme. This is very interesting. Person exempt from obtaining registration, there are two kinds of persons. One is you are exclusively providing the services which are, or goods, supplying goods which are exempt from payment of taxes, or making a reverse charge. So you are making a, suppose, only you are engaged in GTA services where the tax is payable by the recipient. Entire, you are advocate. Your entire services is advocacy and therefore tax is payable by recipient. When I say entire, even you should not have other income like rental incomes. Many this problem arises when the persons who are exempt have some income which are taxable. We have seen this, and then they don't realize that they 20 lakhs, it should be exempt of 20 lakhs. Doctors, healthcare service is exempt. But if you have rental income, then you are not exempt. You need registration. But doctors feel, no, we are out. Therefore, you need to see this. The advocates also, same thing. Now, problem arises when nowadays TDS is deducted, where rental income is paid. So, you have given the promises to HDFC Bank, was deducted TDS in the rent, and the TDS is reflected 26 years. And there is a matching between the GST and the income tax. Then the person comes and notices. वो आके विजिट करता है कि भाई ये आपने, why you are not registered? Now therefore if your entire income is only from a source which is exempt, then you are out. But question another comes, you have reverse charge. You are exempt from payment of tax on forward charge, but you are availing of services on which tax is payable on reverse charge. Then also the liability arises on you. Most of the time, suppose as a doctor you are fighting a law, you are fighting any litigation. आजकल सब डॉक्टरों पे भी consumer court, this court, that court goes on. Normally, थोड़ा ज़रा टाइम लूँगा, 10 मिनट और लूँगा, don't worry. Normally when I speak after lunch, no, I always say that mobile should be on. लंच खा के बैठा क्या मुझे मालूम नहीं है. Anyway, so when a person is exempt under reverse charge, he is still liable. Now this was represented that if you are making a person exempt from payment of tax, वो lawyer, अभी डॉक्टर ने कोई lawyer रखा है reverse charge के लिए, उसको tax भरना पड़ेगा, they are registering. Then they made out a section 23(2), and they said wherever we want that person should be exempt from payment of tax forward charge as well as on reverse charge, then we will specify such person in section 23(2). If our intention is that he should pay on reverse charge, then we will specify that person is there in 23(1). So these are two distinguishes, 23(2)(1), 23(2). Doctors and all are covered in 23(1). So they will continue to be taxed if at all they avail the services of a lawyer and advocate. This till today hardly there is notification which is there, and in 23(2). Period of revocation we have already seen. The High Court has, you must have all now, those who are attached with the WhatsApp group, yesterday that Gujarat High Court has fired the GST Commissioner. Let me tell you, 90% of the show cause notice. See, those who have dealt with the excise and custom, I must tell you, excise, custom and service tax. There is a slight difference in income tax and this act. In income tax, the assessment, during assessment, there is no formal show cause notice given by the ITO assessing officer to the assessee. There's no, he may orally tell you, I will at this point, I will disallow that, I will disallow, you make a submission. But there is no show cause notice given. It doesn't have any provision. Whereas right from beginning, even VAT also I don't know, but service tax, excise, the customs have this provision right from beginning. So we have been arguing, we call it non-merit contention, that your show cause notice is vague. It doesn't tell me why you are asking me to pay the tax. And at the same time, why you are asking me, you tell me also on what basis you have arrived at all this thing. You are telling me this item, samosa, is not a namkeen, but edible preparation. What basis? It is your wisdom, your assumption, your presumption. And most of the show cause notice you will feel. Cancellation of registration. Arey Baba, kiska cancel hua registration? What basis you cancelled? Whereas when it was cancelled, my supplies prior to that or subsequent to that, has he filed GST at 3B or not? No details are given. आजकल वो DGRM, Director General of Risk Management. You will be surprised, we had a client in Vapi, he was given 100 crore rupees notice for refund which he has recovered from an export, which is received on export. The DGRM said he is a risky exporter. What basis they applied, we do not know. यहाँ एसी ने उठा के पूरा नोटिस उसमें लिखा था नोटिस रिस्की एक्सपोर्टर. So sir, we said, we went to AC and said that, sir, we have searched the CGST Act. Oh, this term is not defined. Can you enlighten us what is a risky exporter means? He says, मुझे नहीं मालूम है, उधर से आया है. Now, this is the way, these such notices which are there, fake invoices. What is fake invoice? Underlying goods or services not supplied. A document which does not exist is a fake document. But document which exists is not a fake document. Now there is a supplier who says, I have issued this document. There is a recipient who says, I have paid for it. It cannot be fake. There may not be underlying supply, that's what your charge. But say that specifically that because of this reason, you do not have transportation bill, you do not have whatever GRN receipt, you do not have consumption, all this. That is why I conclude that these are not, goods are not received by you. The deficiency which should be there should be pointed out. अब आपने नोटिस इतना देखा होगा, एक में भी नहीं मिलेगा आपको, क्योंकि उसको ही नहीं मालूम है कि क्या है वो. प्रॉब्लम इज यू गो टू दैट असेसिंग ऑफिसर एंड से सर मुझे नहीं मालूम है, ऊपर से आया है, एंड देयरफॉर आई एम राइटिंग दिस. Such notices, as per Supreme Court Judge, HMM and all, so many judgments are there. These notices, without going into merit of this, itself will be quashed. Therefore, I mean, of course, I am repeating again and again that you must contest the issues on this. Period of revocation. The cancellation of registration was made. We just saw that slide, which everybody must have seen this. And such notices, bina signature, bina this thing, now I am cancelling this registration. Such once you appeal, if the appeal period is over now, of course they have given the time and all that. They have given this time up to 30th June 23. And even after that, if you go to High Court, nobody can cancel the registration because that harms your business operation and therefore income and therefore the family life. This is happening in CHA whenever this custom house agent's license is cancelled, unless a valid reason that CHA has played a fraud, then the cancellation is continued. And CHA is a party to clearance of some goods which are prohibited, which are not permitted in import. That's possible, but otherwise it's not possible. But nevertheless, they have given certain relief on this, and that we should avail. Corporate social responsibility, naturally the disallowance has been made on, now they are specifically provided that the corporate social responsibility, whatever you are incurring the expenses, if GST is paid on that expenses, then you will not get a credit. This issue has arisen. See, sometimes the reason is, if you are looking at your business in course or furtherance of business, is the word used. Of course, I hope you are all aware of these phrases. I am not going in detail of that. In course or furtherance of business, which is there. Some of the corporate social responsibility can be in course or furtherance of business, and some cannot be. For example, now suppose you are dealing with a highly inflammable chemical, like we had that Bhopal tragedy. You are dealing with such chemical manufacturing, and there is a residential colony outside your factory. Now you go on teaching them regularly that if some accident takes place, this is a precaution to be taken. You of course teach your workers also. But you go on feeding this information continuously to residents who are staying outside. Now that is helping your business, that tomorrow if anything happens, the liability on you will be limited. You can train some of the engineers in your factory which can help you in future. I mean, if you find somebody as good, you can employ him. The training cost, in the sense of you are providing food, you provide certain equipment to him. Now those are in relation to your business, in the course or furtherance of business, because it is helping your business. But some of the responsibility, you are asking your school, donation in the school, hospital being constructed, these are no connection with the business. So wherever you find that person is able to establish certain connection with the business, where credit was allowed earlier. Of course, now it will not be allowed. For the past period, we welcome the chairman. Thank you, sir. So therefore, this was a dispute. But dispute was dependent on the fact. One cannot say corporate social responsibility, anything can be allowed. No. You have to link it with the business actually. This is one thing which is online gaming. If you become expert in this, then you don't have to become chartered accountant, Don't have to attend these lectures also on that. See, this internationally, these gamings tax is levied only on the net profit which is there. The gross is practically impossible. Now they have mostly realized this aspect. When of course those who have faced the investigation, the department's contention was, if you ever have gone to play rummy or casino, the modus operandi is that you go to casino, buy. I am not suggesting you go, please do not. But the way the department argued, you go to casino, you buy say 1,000 rupees chips, you play on the table, 200 rupees you bet, on bet amount you pay GST. Now, thereafter, out of 200, you may lose entire amount or you may gain. So 200 may become 300. So your total kitty become 1100. And 200 you will lose, total kitty become 800. Then you again go to some other table, play. The department was contesting that for each play, you levy GST on the gross amount. Every time you play, you levy GST. All casino fellows said, sir, it is impossible, we don't have any record. The system is that person plays there. If he has 1100, he will come and give me chips of 1100. If he has 800, he will give me chips of 800. Because I have my commission on each table when the bet is levied. I recover some amount and that chip is taken away. So I don't have any record. He says, now you estimate. एक टाइम में आदमी कितने बार खेलता है, 1 घंटे में? So अभी उसने लगाया नहीं लगाया, he was just standing. No, that you don't worry. The person may stand and see also. But he said, no, don't worry. वो estimate करके आप इतना बार से multiple करिए और उसको टैक्स लगाइए. ये सब डिमांड जो है ना, आप ये देख रहे हैं, 1 लाख करोड़ और 1.5 लाख करोड़ का जो डिमांड है, is on this basis. These kind of things, of course, what Supreme Court will held, if it comes to any businessman, no, वो डॉक्टर के पास जाएगा तो उसका बीपी और शुगर सब सूट हो जाएगा. These are impossible to be implemented. What they have now brought the provision that you brought on a gross basis, at least is workable solution. That one time you put a gross, and let me tell you this, we are very expert. What we say is, आप पहला law बनाइए. How to get rid of this, we will find out. Don't worry. Now what he has done is, he says, once you buy a chip, 1000 rupees, I will pay GST 28% on that 1000. All right, 280, 720 rupees, you go on playing. After 720, you may come back and return 500. Very specific provision, 500 will not be allowed to be deducted for determination of value. So on 1000 rupees, you have paid the tax, over. Generally what happens today is that you return 500, you pay the amount of 500 rupees. Get the amount of 500 rupees, then next day you come, you don't come, is up to you. And next day you come again, you will be asked to buy the chips again. That's the way generally it is happening. So in our example, if he comes next day and again buys 500 rupees chips, which he has taken yesterday, he will pay again tax. This way the cycle will go on. So every buying you take the chips. Now what they are doing is, they will have a virtual wallet. So 500 रुपये आपके वॉलेट में चला जाएगा, you don't have to return. You understood? So next time, it's in your wallet, so you don't return the money, you go on playing with this 500. So next time if physically you buy chips, then the tax is payable. If you remain in wallet, then the tax is